Hello all, welcome to my channel. In today's video, we'll see how to calculate PF in Excel. I have taken a little time in order to find out how this calculation goes about happening in a practical scenario, and I hope this video will be helpful to you as well. Now, before we could get started, first we'll understand what is the meaning of PF. Now, PF is nothing but the scheme which is provided by the government in order to benefit the employee after the retirement. Now, here I have jotted down the set of rules which is as per Employees Provident Fund Scheme of 1952, and there are a lot more rules which is associated with this, but I have taken only those rules which are required for our calculation purpose. And then now here I have the employee name, I have their salary, and then I have employee contribution, and the EPS contribution. Now, this employee contribution is nothing but the amount which is going to be deducted from the salary of the employee, and this amount will be appearing on your payslip as well. And this employee contribution and EPS contribution is the contribution made by the employer or the company in which you are working. Now, we'll calculate step by step. First, we'll calculate employee contribution. The rule is employee contribution is 12% of basic pay and DNS allowance. Here I have taken salary, which is basic pay and DNS allowance. So start off with equal sign. Now salary is there in B5 into 12%. Press enter, and then the employee contribution gets calculated. Now place your cursor towards the right bottom corner. You can see that the shape of the cursor has been changed to a small plus sign, which is autofill handle. Just double. You can see that the employee contribution has been calculated for all the other employees. Now let's move on to calculate employer contribution. It states that employer contributes 3.67% to EPF and 8.33% to EPS. Now EPS is nothing but employee pension scheme. So this 3.67% and 8.33% is nothing but the breakup of this 12%. Now, employer contribution is nothing but 3.67%. So, start off with equal sign. Salary is there in B5 into 3.67%. And then press enter. Place your cursor here and then just double click in order to calculate for all the other employees. And then we'll move on to EPS contribution. Here, the EPS contribution is 8.33%. But again, there is a rule in order to calculate EPS, which states that the monthly EPS contribution by the employer is calculated on the employee's actual salary if less than rupees 15,000 and on rupees 15,000 if salary exceeds this limit. In short, if your salary, if it is less than 15,000, then your salary into 8.33%, or otherwise it is 15,000 into 8.33%. So, in order to calculate EPS, we should make use of if condition because I have a criteria here. So, start off with equal sign and then make use of if condition. Now, first here it is asking for the logical test. Now, logical test is nothing but my salary should be less than or equal to 15,000. Comma, it is asking value if true. Now, what is the result that you need to get if this condition becomes true? If this condition becomes true, then the calculation is my salary into 8.33%. Comma. Now, what if this criteria or if this condition fails? Then it is 15,000 into 8.33%. Now close the bracket and then press enter. Once you press enter, automatically the EPS contribution gets calculated, and then double click in order to calculate to all the other employees. So we are done with the calculation. Perfect. Now we'll just quickly do the formatting. Formatting in the sense I want to remove the decimal places. So just select the range of cells. Now after the decimal I have two numbers. In order to remove those two decimal places, just press Alt H9 two times in order to remove. So automatically the EPS amount has been calculated. You can see wherever the salary is more than 15,000, you are getting 1,250, which is 8.33% of 15,000, right? But then your calculation does not end here. Now we'll move on to the next rule, which says that contribution payable by the employee is equal to contribution payable by the employer, which means if employee is contributing 12%, employer is also supposed to contribute 12%. In this case, the first employee is contributing 903. The employer and EPS put together, you need to get 903. Just select these two cells. You can look here in the status bar that the sum is showing it as 903, or otherwise you can just quickly calculate and see your employee contribution plus your EPS and then press enter, which is 903. Perfect. But if you click and drag down for all the other employees, so I'll just quickly drag down in order to calculate for all the other employees. You can see for the second employee it is 2170, but our calculation shows 1914, which is lesser than employee contribution. But as per rule, your contribution and the employee contribution should be equal. So in order to incorporate this, what we have to do, start off with equal sign, my employee contribution minus the EPS contribution, and then press enter. So now just place your cursor and just double click. Now you can see automatically your employee and the employee contribution must be equal. Now this is how the actual calculation goes about. I have just gone through step by step. When you are actually calculating, you don't have to put the formula for employee contribution. You can just make use of this formula directly. But wait, that does not end here. But certain times, once you start working and get your payslip, you'll be actually confused and you'll be having this particular question. So your PF amount deducted is rupees 1,800, which is not 12% of my basic pay. Which means, suppose in this case, the employee salary is 18,110 and the contribution is 2,173. But in your payslip, you might be seeing the amount 1,800, which is not 12% of this sum. How and why? Why? Because there is a rule which states that under Section 26A of EPF Act, an employer can choose to limit its contribution towards EPF to 12% of rupees 15,000, which is rupees 1,800, and which is not illegal because there is a rule which has been incorporated that they can set the limit to 15,000. In most of the cases, it is 15,000 into 12%, which will be 1,800. Now, you might be having a question. Okay, if it is above 15,000, it is 12%. What happens if the basic pay is less than 15,000? So, there comes a question, and to give a clear picture of clarity on this, I have taken an example of an actual payslip of an employee. In this case, you can see that the basic pay is 14,750 and DNS allowance is 3,360, which is more than 15,000. But you can see the PF is 1,800. Fine. But towards my right hand side, I have another example wherein the basic pay is just 7,527. But still you can see the PF is deducted is 1,800. So which means how much ever is your basic, if it is less or more, they are going to deduct 15,000 into 12%. If in case your company is following this particular rule, you can make changes to the existing formula. So just double click to the employee contribution. Instead of P5, give it as 15,000 into 12%. And that will be 1,800. Just double click, automatically 1,800 just gets calculated. And towards the right hand side, I have not deleted this in order to show you the calculation. So you can see that 1,800, which is equal to the employer contribution and employee contribution. And this is how the calculation actually goes about happening. But if in case you are an employee who is working in an MNC company, some of the MNC companies make use of a different calculation purpose, wherein I have the details in my another sheet of the payslip. I'm so sorry that I couldn't get a clear picture. Now, this is the payslip of the employee of the same company. I have the basic pay here as 8730, but you can see that the PF is 1800. Fine. Here you can see 12,383, which is less than 15,000. Again, PF is 1800. Here it is less than 15,000. PF is 1800. But what happens is, you can see that the basic pay has been increased to 2697, but the PF amount is 2484, which is 12% of 2697. So in some of the cases, this is how the calculation goes about happening. If it is less than 15,000, then 1,800 gets deducted. If it is more, then it is actually 12% of their actual basic. So here also you can see it is 21,835, and this 2,620 is 12% of your basic. And this is how the calculation goes about happening in some of the MNC companies. If you want to incorporate this, you can change this particular formula, which is the employee contribution. Now, as per that rule, I'll just double click. In order to incorporate that, we are again making use of if condition. So start off with equal sign. If condition, as per the rule which we have seen now, if my salary is less than or equal to 15,000, comma, what is if the value is true, then it is 15,000 into 12%, comma, or otherwise it is V5, which is salary into 12%. Close brackets and then press enter. So just double click, automatically the employee contribution just changed. But this case is very rare. But if in case you look at your payslip, you will actually get a clarity. And that concludes this video. Hope this video is helpful for you. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel and also click on the bell icon in order to receive further updates. Thank you.